All right, if you're currently invested in the stock market, I'm going to show you how to make a lot of money when the next phase shift comes in the cycle. Okay, the market is setting up to transition into the next phase of the market cycle, and there's opportunity for everyone who's in the market to take advantage of it and make a lot of money. I'm going to show you how it works right now. Let's get started. All right, today I'm going to start with just a quick review of the market cycle, right? Anybody who watches this channel, you know that I trade market cycles. I've been trading for over 30 years and I trade every phase of the cycle for profit, right? A lot of people only know how to trade one aspect of the market. That's usually a bull market. And when the market's going up, they make a lot of money. But when the market's going sideways or down, they don't know what to do and they end up losing a lot of money. So my system, we capture gains on every phase of the cycle, right? When the market's going up, I make money. When the market's going down, I make a lot of money. When it's recovering, I make a lot of money. And when it goes back into expansion, I make a lot of money during every phase of the market cycle. That's important, okay? And I'm going to just do a quick review of the cycle, and it works like this. And I'm going to start back in 2020, right? Right before 2020, we're expanding, and then the market crashed. We all remember that. After the market crash comes a recovery cycle, right? It recovered. And then once it breaks higher, it goes into what's called expansion, right? After so much expansion, it goes back into another crash phase and declines. And it declined here, as you can see, right? So now it declines again. It recoils. It recovers, goes back into expansion, and then it happens all over again. Here's a Trump tariff. It crashes again. Then it recoils, recovers, goes back into expansion, and now we're sitting here today saying, hey, what's next? So I'm going to talk about what's next. I'm going to show you what you can do to prepare yourself and take advantage of it and make a lot of money from it, okay? If you're currently in the market and you're currently fully invested, well, you got some thinking to do because you got to make some decisions. Is this market going to keep going up higher and higher? And if it does, how are you going to make money from that? You want to make sure you're positioned to continue making money if the market goes up. But if it does the inevitable and it starts crashing sooner rather than later, how are you going to make money from that? And more importantly, how are you going to protect yourself from losing money? Okay, that's where most people start losing money, right? During this recovery phase, everybody gets excited. It's going back up. And then during the expansion, we're all making good profits, right? No matter what you do during these times, you're going to make money. There's a lot of people selling covered calls during this period right here. A lot of people doing cash secured puts. Some people running the wheel, swing trading, day trading, buying stocks for long-term holds. Anything you do during this little period right here is going to make money, okay? And that's where most people in the market make their money. Unfortunately, most people trading the markets, most retail investors, they don't do very well, right? 90% of them do worse than the market average, right? So you could just buy the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, and just hang on to it and do what the average does, right? But most people trade through all this period and instead do worse than the average, believe it or not. Now, that's the statistics, whether we like them or not. That is what they tell us is true. And even worse, they say the average retail investor makes less than 3% return on their money. So that data is there for us just to recognize, acknowledge, and say, gee, how are we going to protect ourselves from being just an average investor getting below average returns? Instead, we want to do better. Well, right now, you have an opportunity. The market is at a position where it's going to either continue higher, and you want to make sure you're with it if it does, or it's going to continue lower. If it goes lower, you want to make sure you're protected. So what do? Well, I have a framework that I follow. There's a free guide in the top of the description. You can download it. It tells you how I think in different market phases to make money. But right now, here's what I'm doing. I am taking some of my money off of the table and preparing that for a future downturn so I can take advantage of the market when it comes down, right? So when the market comes down to here, let's just say it starts to come down like this, right? In the next coming weeks and months. Well, I want to be able to buy the market when it gets down to this point. Maybe I'm going to buy some when it gets down to this point, but how am I going to do that if all my money's in the stock market? Now the stock market's come down and I'm kind of unhappy because now I'm in the red rather than the green. I don't really want to take my money off the table at this point. I just want to wait for the recovery. Well, you prepare now. Take some money off the table right now if you're going to take any. If you got some long-term holds that you're going to hold, say, hey, I'm going to hold them through this downturn, then you can do that, right? And according to my system, what I do is I'm selling cover calls against my long-term holds right now, right? I'm making income on them. Right now is a great time to sell cover calls, in my opinion, because you're not going to get called out. You're just going to keep that premium 100% as the market comes down. right? I'm going to adjust my strategy as the market moves, but right now I'm selling covered calls on my long-term holds, right? Now, again, I have a framework you can follow. It's free if you want to download it. It's at the top of the description, and it will tell you how you should be thinking at this moment in time as the market unfolds and starts to move down, right? Going into the next phase. And what you really want to do is just say, hey, I'm in a position now where I'm not losing a lot of money as the market goes down, right? I'm in a position where if the market goes up, I still go up with it, right? So you want to make sure you're doing that. If the market goes up, right, you're still going to go up with it. You have positions on that are going to take you up with the market. But if the market goes down, you're not going to go down as much as the market. Well, how do you do that? Well, you put some cash on it in your pocket, maybe sell some of your stocks and go to cash, or you transition your stocks into something that will go down slower, right? The market, let's say it's going to drop 10 or 20%. If you got some high beta stocks, we'll say like Amazon or Nvidia, right? Nvidia is a 2.3 beta right now. If the market goes down 10%, that stock likely is going to go down 23%. And that's just the numbers telling you that, right? So you want to get something that's going to go down slower than the market. You want to transition out of these positions that you have into something that's going to go down slower. Now, naturally, cash is not going to go down at all. You're going to go to cash. You're just going to hold it and wait for this turn. But the downside to that is if the market continues to go higher, your cash is not going to go higher. So you really want to put yourself in a position to continue to go up with the market. And if the market goes down, you want to be able to take advantage of it when it gets down to this level, right? So what are you doing to prepare for that? That's something to think about, right? If you want to download my free guide, it's at the top of the description. Download it. It will help you just get the right mindset and prepare for this. Now, no one knows when this is going to happen, right? I'm going to go to the QQQ. That is what I mainly watch when it comes to market direction, right? I like to watch the QQQs. And they tell me, let me get rid of this stuff. And that is the one I read mainly to tell if the market's ready to go down or not. And if you watch my video from last week about the market crash and pending market crash, it looks like it's still setting up to come down, right? It came below the 10-day, below the 30-day moving average, which is this blue line, right? It came all the way down to its trend line. It hit the trend line and then it bounced, right? But if you notice, you got all these distribution days stacked up that I discussed. And now it has a couple recovery days where the volume was low. So it's not very impressive recovery. So that tells me now it's going to probably come down lower on the next leg down, right? It came down one leg, it bounced. The next one's probably going to put a new low in this little section of the market right here. Now, where it's going to go from there, I don't know. It could probably come down to this 200-day moving average. And what's going to do from there, if it breaks below, then it could go much lower, right? Are you prepared for that? If the market comes down and closes this gap, I don't know if you follow gaps at all in your trading. I do. And here's a gap right here, right? And the market has a tendency to want to fill gaps. It might come all the way down to here. So if the NASDAQ comes down to 531, how's that going to affect your portfolio? And how are you prepared for it? And that's what you want to start thinking about right now. Now, you also want to make sure you're protecting yourself if this market continues to go up from here, right? And it goes up and away. Well, you want to make sure you're on that train for that ride as well. You don't want to lose out on any potential gains, but you also want to be protected from the downside, right? And right now, the downside looks more possible than the upside. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Anything can happen. The market is built to go up. It always wants to go up. Everybody's money every week from your paychecks is going into your 401ks, flooding the market with more money every single Friday pay period and pushing the market up, right? So it's designed to go up. Everybody in the country wants it to go up pretty much. Every CEO is working to make their business better so they make more money and push the markets up. So for the market to go down, it's the unusual activity that causes that. And that's what we want to take advantage of. And then when it comes down here, you want to have a plan to say, hey, when it gets down to this point, I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to make a lot of money. And in my system, it shows you how to make a lot of money from there, right? And then you ride the recovery up, and then you get back into safety. It's very important you learn these trading tactics if you want to make a lot of money. Otherwise, you're just going to be like the average retail investor who just makes money in a bull market, selling cash secured puts, or selling your cover calls, or even doing your wheel. You're going to make a lot of trades. You're going to do a lot of work, but you're going to end up with average returns because you're not taking advantage of the full market cycle, right? Most people only trade in this part of the cycle. They don't know how to trade this part of the cycle. They don't know how to trade that part of the cycle. They don't know how to trade this part. They only know how to trade this bull market. And the fact is, everybody makes money in a bull market. So it's not that big a deal to make money in a bull market. It's expected, right? If you're losing money in a bull market, then you're really doing something wrong. But once this bull market's over, there's many more aspects of the market where you can make money. But unfortunately, most people don't. They just go into a loss when the market starts to go down. Don't do that, right? Protect yourself. I'm telling you right now, the market's looking like it's going to start going down. It doesn't mean that it will, but you want to be protected. How do you do that? Well, like I said, I have a free guide up top. You can download it. It'll show you how to align yourself for every phase of the market and how to take advantage of it. Or I'm telling you right now, do something so if the market goes up, you are in the market and you're making money. Also do something if the market goes down, you're losing less than the market. You don't want to go down with the market. You either want to protect yourself, go to 100% cash. Some people do. I don't. I'm always in the market to some extent. But some people go to cash. Some people rotate into a low beta product that will take them down slower, right? So if you're in something like Nvidia and you sell that and then you buy something that moves slower, a defensive stock that would not go down as bad as Nvidia will when the market corrects, that will serve you better, right? And then if the market continues to go up, well, you're still going to make gains because you're still in the stock market, right? I hope I'm making sense. It's very important you understand that point about how to manage through the phases of the market cycle. And that really is where the big money's made, folks. Anybody can trade here and just be average. You're better than that. I know you are. That's why you're watching this video. You're trying to get ahead. So take advantage of the markets. Take a look at my free guide, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.